resurrect because you can't ruin a person's legacy because you can't erase what she's done. It's like a lot of times it's like a sports career, right?
I think you can though.
No, you
it's
can't.
What people think of you.
No, you can't because you might think about what they do now, but watching the documentary, I felt the same way. I felt like everybody in this documentary is exploiting her because it surprised me to see that her son was an executive producer because there's no way I would want my mother to be seen
ever
in that light.
Charlamagne Thaw God recently shared his thoughts on the Wendy Williams documentary, expressing that it was very hard to watch and admitting he was shocked that her family had given their approval for its release.
Trying to raise awareness to her being like held captive somewhere, then I get it, but they seem to know where she is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like she was calling them at the end of the episode, and she was saying how she's doing better.
Does your family put you in those wellness centers? Because
it didn't seem like that in the doc. It seemed like somebody else put her in there.
Yeah.
Like, I would feel like her family would force her to go to a wellness center if they could. I don't even know if they can.
Last weekend, Lifetime aired the 2-day, 4-hour documentary titled "Where is Wendy Williams?", chronicling the distressing decline of the former talk show host's health due to progressive aphasia and frontotemporal dementia.
Everything is okay always.
Wendy, make sure you look here. 1, 2, 3.
But in reality, there's something wrong going on.
Did you see a neurologist to find out if I'm crazy?
Charlamagne, known for his role on The Breakfast Club and his early radio days on The Wendy Williams Experience, revealed, "It was sad, and I was just like, damn, man." Surprisingly, Wendy Williams' family, including her son Kevin, niece, nephew, sister, and brother, served as executive producers for the project, leaving Charlamagne both shocked and surprised. He questioned their decision, saying, "I know her family loves and cares for her, so it's very interesting to see them participate in this documentary given the state she was in. You could look at her and tell something's not right, so why would you want this out there?" Despite the difficult scenes portrayed in the documentary, Charlamagne emphasized that it doesn't erase Wendy Williams' legacy. According to him, you can't erase who Wendy Williams is. You just have to look at all of this in the totality of her existence. Her story is not over. That's the beauty about life. It is never over until it's over. Reflecting on her impressive career, he noted, "She had a stellar radio career. She had a stellar 14-year run on TV. This is just the current chapter for Wendy Williams." The South Carolina native said, "It is not the end for Wendy Williams because she is still here on this planet." He added, "I just hope that we all can learn from this. When you see great people fall, don't laugh. Learn from it. It was just poor life choices." Since 2021, Wendy Williams has left daytime television viewers and pop culture enthusiasts in suspense, wondering about her whereabouts and well-being. This weekend, Lifetime took on the task of shedding light on this mystery through a documentary series. Wendy's public struggles became evident on several occasions. In a memorable 2017 Halloween episode of The Wendy Williams Show, she fainted during a live broadcast, attributing it later to her diagnosis of Graves' disease, an immune system disorder. In 2019, she openly disclosed on her show that she was residing in a sober living home. Just a month later, she filed for divorce from her husband. The last episode of her talk show was filmed on July 23, 2021. In the subsequent year, a court appointed a legal guardianship to manage Wendy Williams' finances, leaving her fans uncertain about the state of her mental and physical health. As it turns out, cameras had been trailing Wendy until 2023, capturing her journey as she sought treatment for cognitive issues. This footage became the basis for a documentary in which Wendy and her son, Kevin Hunter Jr., were listed as executive producers. Leading up to the airing of the documentary, Wendy's guardian, whose identity remains redacted, sought a temporary restraining order to prevent Lifetime from broadcasting it. However, a judge denied the request, citing the First Amendment. Simultaneously, Wendy's care team revealed that the 59-year-old host had been diagnosed with progressive aphasia and frontotemporal dementia, conditions impacting language, communication behavior, and cognitive function. Over the weekend, the documentary, titled "Where is Wendy Williams?", aired as planned in 2 parts, providing viewers with significant insights into Wendy's journey. Williams's heavy drinking, as revealed by her friends and family, is attributed to the aftermath of her divorce. According to her nephew, Travis Finney, and friend DJ Boof, She turned to alcohol when tabloids exposed her then-husband Kevin Hunter's infidelity. In response to her spiraling behavior, her family intervened and sent her to rehab in 2019. Later that year, Williams initiated divorce proceedings after Hunter fathered a child with another woman. When the documentary filming commenced, Williams was estranged from Hunter Jr., who disapproved of her drinking habits. Throughout the series, Williams is captured on camera consuming alcohol, although she insists she doesn't have an issue with it. Family members shared that her drinking episodes resulted in multiple hospital visits. In a notable scene from the documentary, her manager, Will Selby, confronted her in her bedroom, holding up an empty vodka bottle and questioning her consumption. Initially admitting to drinking it all, Williams swiftly changed her response to a denial. The documentary also highlights instances where camera crews arrived at her residence, only to find Williams too hungover or intoxicated to participate in filming, as reported by her manager. Williams's financial guardianship was initiated due to concerns surrounding her monetary affairs. The situation unfolded in 2022 when Wells Fargo, her bank, took the step of freezing her accounts. The decision came in the wake of inquiries about substantial withdrawals, prompting the bank to file a petition for a temporary financial guardianship. In the documentary, Hunter Jr., aged 23, asserts that any money he withdrew from Williams's account was done with her full knowledge and consent. Williams herself expresses in the documentary that she has a desire to share her wealth with her son. Finney, her nephew, sheds light on Williams's generosity, detailing instances where she willingly contributed significant sums to her son's expenses. This included a $120,000 expenditure on his birthday party and an $80,000 contribution towards his rent, among other things. The documentary captures scenes of Williams engaging in the sale of her clothing to resale websites, showcasing her efforts to generate additional income. In 2022, Williams made an attempt to secure a new financial arrangement, a development that unfolds in the documentary. The intricacies of this endeavor are explored, adding further layers to the story of Wendy Williams and her financial journey. In 2022, Wendy Williams set her sights on launching a new television show. As the documentary neared its conclusion, cameras captured a moment where Williams's manager, Will Selby, reached out to her, inquiring about her whereabouts. It was revealed that her publicist, Sean Zanotti, had arranged a plane ticket to Los Angeles for her. Upon the cameras joining them in L.A., Zanotti and Williams shared with the filmmakers that they had held meetings discussing the potential creation of a new show for NBC Universal. Unfortunately, despite these efforts, no new show materialized, and NBC declined to provide any comments when approached by the documentary producers. Throughout the documentary, Williams expressed her eagerness to return to television. On multiple occasions, she confided in various individuals, emphasizing her desire to be back on screen. One particularly humorous note she shared was her plan to, upon returning, take off her wig and sell it to someone in the audience, an intriguing glimpse into Wendy Williams's unique and candid approach to her television aspirations. Despite the headlines about Wendy Williams's dual diagnoses of progressive aphasia and frontotemporal dementia before the airing of Where is Wendy Williams?, the documentary surprisingly made little mention of these conditions. In a segment featuring Hunter Jr., he shared insights into Williams's medical journey, noting that during her stay with him in Miami in the fall of 2021, he accompanied her to all medical appointments. According to him, doctors had diagnosed her with alcohol-induced dementia. The documentary, however, provided minimal information on this revelation, with the screen cutting to black and a note indicating that this was the first time dementia was mentioned during production. Another noteworthy aspect covered in the documentary is the ongoing legal battle for guardianship. In 2022, the courts decided to appoint a third party as Williams's guardian, sidelining any family members from the role. The documentary concluded while Williams was still undergoing treatment for cognitive issues. The final portion of the series predominantly consists of interviews with Williams's family, including her father, sister, brother, son, nephew, and niece, discussing the topic of guardianship. Per New York City law, guardianships undergo reevaluation annually. Williams's family members expressed their hope that in 2024 they can remove the third-party guardian and take a more active role in Wendy Williams's care, illustrating their ongoing commitment to supporting her well-being. In the initial part of the series, Wendy Williams candidly reveals a startling truth about her financial situation, emphasizing a relatable message. "I have no money, and I'm going to tell you something. If it happens to me, it could happen to you." In 2022, the 59-year-old found herself under temporary financial guardianship, following Wells Fargo's claims in a New York court. The bank alleged that she was deemed an incapacitated person and a victim of undue influence and financial exploitation, as reported by The Hollywood Reporter. Just days before the Lifetime docuseries premiered on February 22nd, Williams's care team made a significant announcement. They revealed that she had been diagnosed with primary progressive aphasia and frontotemporal dementia. Primary progressive aphasia affects speech and language abilities, while frontotemporal dementia, FTD, results in a decline in frontal and temporal lobe function. It's worth noting that Williams also contends with Graves' disease, an autoimmune disorder affecting the thyroid. While the documentary delves into discussions about ongoing guardianship involving the former talk show host, her family, and her managerial team, Williams's guardian, later identified as Sabrina Morrissey, is notably absent from the narrative. To gain more insight into Wendy Williams's current circumstances, NPR reached out to Kim McAdoo, a New York-based attorney specializing in estate planning, wills, and guardianships. So what exactly does the term guardianship mean? Well, a guardianship, often referred to as a conservatorship, is a legal arrangement established by a court when an individual is no longer able to handle their affairs due to illness, disability, or injury. You might be surprised to know that several celebrities, including Britney Spears, Amanda Bynes, Michael Oher, and Brian Wilson, have also been placed under some form of guardianship. Now, in the case of Wendy Williams, her guardianship is in New York, and the state has 3 distinct types of legal guardianships. Article 17. A guardianship. This is for adults aged 18 or older with an intellectual or developmental disability, where guardians are given the authority to make most decisions for them. Guardianship of a child. When there's concern that one or both parents are unable to care for a child, a parent or individual can request a court to grant them guardianship of that child. Article 81. Guardianship. In this type, a judge empowers a guardian with specific responsibilities, like managing a person's finances, property, personal needs, or a combination of these, focusing on meeting the needs of the deemed incapacitated individual. Now, Wendy Williams' specific type of guardianship isn't clear from her sealed court documents, but guardianship cases can vary based on the individual. According to Kim McAdoo, a New York-based attorney specializing in estate planning, wills, and guardianships, the responsibilities or duties of the guardian will really depend on that particular person's circumstances and what the judge orders the guardian to do. Let's talk about how guardianship cases work, especially in New York, where Wendy Williams's specific situation is unfolding. In the Empire State, guardianship cases are brought before either a county court or the state Supreme Court. And here's an interesting tidbit. They're subject to an annual review. Yep, every single year. Kim McAdoo, a New York-based attorney experienced in guardianships, has some advice for those under guardianship. Be ready when you head to court. Keep records of everything, any money spent on behalf or any transactions you've made, she suggests. And if you're doing things by the book, she assures, you will have no issues. Now, when it comes to choosing a guardian, individuals might not have a direct say, but they can certainly make recommendations. Typically, a family member steps into the role, but it could also be an institutional guardian, like a banker, or a professional guardian, such as an attorney. Leslie Saltzman, a clinical law professor, emphasized back in 2021 that the court should seriously consider a person's preference. So while Wendy Williams didn't have a family member appointed as her guardian, the court-appointed legal guardian, revealed in the docuseries, holds a significant role in Williams's life, having unrestrained access to information about her well-being and whereabouts. there are some alternatives to guardianship because, it's not the only game in town. People have choices, and here are a few. First up, we've got the power of attorney. This is when someone, handpicked by an individual, steps in to make financial or medical decisions. The cool thing? It's usually the individual themselves who appoints this person, not a judge or a court order. Then, we have supported decision-making agreements. Picture this as a squad of supportive individuals in someone's life, all geared up to help make those big decisions. Teamwork makes the dream work. And there's also the representative payee, a person or organization approved by the Social Security Administration. Their job? Managing an individual's Social Security or supplemental security income benefits. Kim McAdoo, our New York-based attorney friend, highlighted a crucial factor when considering these alternatives. The person in question needs to have the cognitive ability to understand what they're signing or delegating to another person. So whether someone is refusing to let someone else take the reins or simply lacks the cognitive ability, these alternatives offer flexibility for individuals to navigate decision-making in their own unique ways. In an exclusive report by the U.S. Sun, Wendy Williams' guardian Sabrina Morrissey, along with her firm Morrissey & Morrissey LLP and about 10 other attorneys, have been accused of involvement in a scheme to exploit a client in a $30 million lawsuit while managing the troubled host's finances. The lawsuit, filed in 2022, reveals a series of serious allegations against Wendy's guardian. Sabrina Morrissey is accused of pursuing an unjust guardianship over Jose Verdugo, a New York man who had been awarded $5.5 million in a personal injury claim resulting from a construction accident that caused head and back injuries. The plaintiff in the case, attorney Michael Flomenhaft of the Flomenhaft Law Firm, PLLC, represented Verdugo in the legal proceedings. The case was initiated in November 2022, and by August 2023, Flomenhaft filed a discontinuation without prejudice, allowing him the option to refile charges, modify the claim, or bring the case to another court within the statute of limitations. According to court documents, the trouble began in 2009 when a former associate of Flomenhaft, Herbert Rodriguez, allegedly misled Verdugo about Flomenhaft's handling of the case. Rodriguez, from Schwartz Goldstone Campisi, and Cates, LLP, SGCK, purportedly conveyed to Verdugo and his wife that a guardianship was necessary for the case to be finalized. This is where Wendy Williams' guardian, Sabrina Morrissey, enters the picture. Rodriguez and his firm supposedly conspired with Morrissey to impose a mental hygiene law MHL Article 81 guardianship on Verdugo. The court documents assert that they pursued a dual litigation strategy aimed at discrediting Flomenhaft and allegedly securing substantial court-awarded fees for Morrissey & Morrissey as guardian counsel. It's worth noting that Wendy Williams' guardian, Sabrina Morrissey, had previously faced criticism from the star's family in a recent docuseries aired on Lifetime. The lawsuit contends that Wendy Williams' conservator assumed the role of guardian for Verdugo from January 19, 2010 to October 7, 2015. During this period, the complaint claims that she was also engaged in legal proceedings related to the conservatorship. According to the allegations, Morrissey and the firm SGCK operated with a sense of assurance that their fee applications would be readily approved by the judicial system. The complaint suggests that there was a consistent reluctance by the courts to allow Verdugo an opportunity to demonstrate his capacity under New York's mental hygiene law, thus challenging the validity of the guardianship. The lawsuit paints a picture of an unrestrained scheme, stating, empowered by both the confidence that their fee applications would be judicially rubber-stamped and the consistent judicial resistance to affording Verdugo an opportunity to demonstrate his capacity under the New York mental hygiene law and thus the invalidity of the guardianship, defendants have been untrammeled in their scheme. The suit goes further to allege the involvement of guardianship judges in the purported scheme, suggesting ongoing ex parte communications that facilitated the alleged misconduct. The complaint accuses the defendants of conspiring to maintain an unfounded guardianship over Jose Verdugo, supposedly under the guise of protecting his best interests. It asserts that for over a decade, the defendants have subjected Verdugo to a demeaning and oppressive guardianship, manipulating and deceiving him, as well as the New York Supreme Court and the Appellate Division. Detailing more than a decade of litigation related to the conservatorship, the complaint contends that the legal actions, including filings concerning the guardianship and other court proceedings, were orchestrated by Wendy's conservator and other guardianship attorneys. The plaintiff claims that they falsely perpetuated the baseless guardianship to silence and legally incapacitate Verdugo from acting on his own behalf. The origins of this lengthy legal saga, as per the complaint, trace back to a $5,000 discrepancy in 2007, which allegedly led to a series of events resulting in extensive litigation that drained Verdugo's settlement with excessive attorney fees. Over the years, Jose Verdugo found himself under the guidance of various guardianship attorneys, including Wendy's current guardian, Morrissey. During this time, a barrage of litigation unfolded, draining a significant portion of Verdugo's personal injury award, as claimed in the lawsuit. The legal actions, supposedly undertaken in the name of protecting Verdugo, were characterized as sham litigations used to accumulate exorbitant and fraudulently based attorney and guardian fees, depleting Verdugo's multi-million-dollar personal injury recovery. The case estimated that despite an initial award, Verdugo was left with $2.47 million after attorneys' fees, case expenses, and discharge of liens. However, the lawsuit asserted that over the subsequent years, the defendants pursued additional litigation without their client's consent, amounting to at least another $1.1 million. Interestingly, the claims were voluntarily dismissed before Morrissey or any of the other defendants had the chance to respond to the specific allegations. We reached out to Morrissey for comment in connection with this story. The lawsuit also highlighted the plaintiff's alleged efforts to hinder Verdugo's emancipation from the guardianship, suggesting a strategic insulation to prevent him from realizing the exploitation of the guardianship for personal financial gain. In 2021, the case contended that Verdugo's daughter attempted to liberate her father from the conservatorship, asserting that Verdugo's medical records confirmed his capacity for over a decade. Despite this, the guardians and the court allegedly refused to arrange a capacity hearing, prompting Fatima, Verdugo's daughter, to file an Article 78 proceeding to demand the necessary hearing. Within the lawsuit, multiple doctors provided attestations to Verdugo's cognitive abilities, emphasizing that he did not require a guardian from a neuropsychiatric standpoint. One of the doctors explicitly stated, "He is not found to be incompetent to a degree that he needs a guardian." In 2016, Wendy's conservator reportedly initiated further legal action against Flomenhaft, as detailed in the complaint filed by Flomenhaft. During this period, her ward, Verdugo, submitted an affidavit expressing his disapproval of the lawsuit against Flomenhaft. In the affidavit, Verdugo stated, "I do not support the lawsuit against Mr. Flomenhaft and his law firm. I received the Peachtree money and deposited it into my bank account. I gave Mr. Flomenhaft permission to use the rest of the money as he saw fit to cover my case expenses. I am angry that I am being used." According to Verdugo, the guardian was allegedly using him to sue Flomenhaft without his consent, resulting in significant financial burdens. He explained, "It has and continues to cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars in attorney's fees. I understand that Mr. Flomenhaft tried to get the case dismissed, but the attorney from the law firm for my previous guardian, Michael Weiner, swore that I have been insane since 2003, even though I have never met Mr. Weiner." Verdugo expressed frustration, asserting, "I understand that Mr. Rodriguez and his current law firm also supported that lie. I am a functioning, intelligent, and independent person, employed by different companies in different jobs. I am certainly not insane," concluding his statement. Flomenhaft's latest lawsuit goes further to accuse Morrissey and the other defendants of racketeering. The complaint alleges, "Defendants have engaged in a chronic pattern of collusion and conduct involving deceit and attempted deceit upon plaintiffs, Verdugo, and the guardians themselves." As a result, the plaintiffs claim substantial harm, including attorney's fees, loss of professional time, reputational harm, and delays in receiving apportioned attorney's fees and investment loss and interest. The lawsuit also contends that the defendants violated civil rights law, asserting, In violation of Civil Rights Law Section 70, these defendants prosecuted each of the matters in the consolidation purportedly on Verdugo's behalf without Verdugo's authorization when he possessed capacity and the right to be free of guardianship control, and thus entitled to make his own litigation decisions. The total punitive damages sought from all defendants amount to $30 million. Facing backlash in the aftermath of the docuseries, publicist Sean Zanotti, who joined forces with Wendy Williams in 2022, finds herself at the center of scrutiny. Viewers took to social media, accusing Zanotti of contributing to Williams' alcohol-related issues. A comment on X, formerly known as Twitter, questioned Zanotti's judgment in taking Williams for a drink and arranging a meeting with NBC while Williams was allegedly experiencing cognitive decline. In response to the criticism, Zanotti spoke with People, offering her perspective on her relationship with Williams and her involvement in the documentary. She expressed regret for participating in the project, stating that she initially believed it would showcase a more positive side of Williams and her career. Zanotti insisted, "I would never let Wendy put her name and brand on the line like that ever. She's an icon. It's not the story we signed up for, and I feel lied to." Zanotti disclosed that she hasn't spoken with Williams since April 2023, around the time the docuseries concluded filming. She emphasized that she wasn't aware of Williams' alcohol issues and defended her intentions, stating she never profited from her association with Williams and had dedicated countless hours for free to assist and advise her. Addressing the allegation of allowing Williams to consume alcohol, Zanotti clarified, "No one ever told me she couldn't drink, and she only had those few sips around me." She claimed ignorance of Williams having cognitive issues and concluded, "I just regret ever being a part of the documentary or getting Wendy involved." Wendy Williams was always a force to be reckoned with, described by those who know her as loud and unapologetic. Growing up, her parents had verbal codes to rein in her vivacity. TM for too much, TF for too fast, and TL for too loud. These codes, sprinkled into conversations, were gentle reminders to temper her exuberance. Yet even today, she admits she still tends to speak loudly. Back in the day, Wendy was hard to miss. Standing tall at 5'10", she boasted a bright smile adorned with glossy pinks and matte reds, and a figure she wasn't shy to discuss. Add to that her unmistakable Jersey accent, and she was a presence impossible to ignore. Her voice, like radio gold, cut through the airwaves with a unique clarity that set her apart from other hosts. Through her various shows, Wendy dished out juicy, sometimes salacious scoops on Black celebrity life, earning her a reputation for being unapologetically forthright. "I know that the show is messy because I'm messy," she once confessed, and her audience loved her for it. The Wendy Williams Show soared in popularity, drawing in millions of viewers. Gossiping isn't confined to any particular group or culture. It's a universal human obsession that has stood the test of time. Yet Wendy's approach to gossiping was uniquely her own. She didn't hide behind pseudonyms or deflect blame. She owned every word she spoke. While gossip has always been part of the cultural fabric, Wendy's focus on hip-hop and her unabashed persona set her apart from other gossip mongers. Yet being a loud Black woman in the public eye came with its challenges. Wendy faced criticism and doubt, with some questioning her credibility compared to more mainstream media figures like Oprah. But Wendy wasn't deterred. In her eyes, she was the original, paving the way for others to follow. "I consider myself the original," she proudly declared. "I've been doing this for years and been vilified. Now everybody's doing it." And indeed, her influence in shaping internet culture is undeniable. So while Wendy Williams may be loud, she's also undeniably influential, leaving an indelible mark on the world of celebrity gossip and entertainment. Philip Lewis, HuffPost's front-page editor, acknowledges Wendy Williams' significant influence in shaping the landscape of social accounts blending gossip with news. According to Lewis, many present-day content creators on platforms like TikTok, YouTube, and podcasts, especially within the Black community, owe their careers to Williams. Even Charlamagne Tha God, a well-known personality, worked on Wendy Williams' show, further illustrating her impact. The evolving landscape of bloggers, journalists, and media personalities has made it challenging for audiences to distinguish between different roles. The shift from terms like story to content and journalist to creator has further blurred the lines. This confusion, as noted by Lewis, contributes to the proliferation of misinformation and disinformation, particularly within the Black community. Lewis emphasizes the distinction between Wendy Williams and newer entrants, pointing out that she was a trained journalist who brought a unique approach to information dissemination. He believes that many attempting to replicate her style lack the skills and talent she possessed. The way news is consumed has also undergone a transformation, with a contemporary desire for quick entertainment rather than strict information. This shift, evolving over years, caters to a preference for quick, easily digestible content. It's a trend that transcends age, appealing to both the younger generation and older individuals seen engaging in online discussions. Wendy Williams, a trailblazer in the gossip industry, pioneered a new template for delivering entertaining gossip while keeping it distinct from traditional news. Despite her controversial approach, Wendy's influence can be seen in the evolution of media, particularly in online spaces like the Shade Room. Wendy Williams' legacy, however, is not without its controversies. Real talk, she pushed boundaries, exhibiting homophobic and transphobic behavior and crossing lines in her pursuit of sensationalism. Her approach, while garnering attention, also set a precedent for some problematic commentary seen in online spaces today. Lewis concludes that Wendy Williams' influence extends beyond gossip, as she paved the way for many present-day bloggers and content creators who follow in her footsteps. Although she's been off-air since July 2022 due to health issues, her impact remains undeniable, evident in a polarizing Lifetime documentary, her model's adoption by others, and a devoted fan base. In the ongoing narrative of Wendy Williams, talking about her in the present tense is a nuanced tug-of-war. Her health challenges, including Graves' disease, lymphedema, primary progressive aphasia, and frontotemporal dementia, have altered her life significantly. While her active role as the premier black tea stirrer may have come to a close, her presence looms large in the cultural landscape, leaving an indelible mark on entertainment and gossip. She remains unabashedly proud of her legacy, and her impact is felt in the echoes of those who ran with her model and the passionate audience members who hung on her every word. That's all for the video, folks. Thanks for watching.